We created a cannon. What was the logic here? Can fire. It's a property. Public bool can fire. Private get private set, and we have another method, public void fire vector 3 target position. It needs some data like everything else. Come on, cannon data. What is the data? It needs a reference to a missile prefab. It also needs data about cooldown, private float cooldown. That's it for now, I think. Yeah. Right, this is all it needs. So, serialized field, private cannon data. We forgot to add the construct menu. Cannon data, scriptable objects. Now it's in data, cannon data. Right. Oops. So, how do we determine if it can fire? Private float shoot time. We keep track of when it was fired, right? So the get is just shoot time plus cannon data cooldown so when it was fired plus what the cooldown is smaller than the current time. Current time. No private set. Nothing. That's it. That's all it does. I messed up. That's it. And when we fire, we also gonna check if can fire, so we don't do stupid mistakes. Return if not. We're gonna keep track. Shoot time equals time. That's it. We're going to instantiate cannon data, missile prefab at transform position, quaternion identity, and parent null. This will be the missile. And missile get component by direction equals target position minus transform position minus. Right, so what did we do? We instantiated the missile at the position of the cannon. Oops. And we gave it a direction. And now we're done. Missile should take care of itself. Right? So the cannon has a script on it called cannon. And it has this cannon data that hasn't been created yet. Let's go. Yeah, data. Hey, it's not here. Why is it not here? Cannon data. Data, cannon data. It's not a mono behavior, you moron. It's a scriptable object. I need some water. Did I bring any? No. Cannon data. Cooldown. 1 second. Now. Okay. Cannons. We're gonna drop them in here. Let's check if I didn't put the same one twice. Right, so this is the cannon controller. It selects the closest cannon and it will spawn a rocket that will be going into that direction. So this one needs to have the translator on it, and it will need translator data. Asteroid translator data. Translator data, let's call this missile. Translator minimum speed 1. It doesn't need to be random. So the prefab missile has, didn't I? No, I didn't put anything. Translator, missile translator. And the cannon has the cannon data, which has the missile object on it. Okay. I think we should be able to fire it. Okay. Okay. We need to also rotate the what? The rocket into the direction of the... So how do we do that? We have the missile, rocket missile. Translator. What does the translator do? It does this. So we are going to derive from this one and call a missile translator, because it needs to do something more than just translate. When it receives the direction, it needs to turn the rocket towards the direction it will be flying. And this is the translator. Right. So in the translator, this property is going to be virtual. Right? And let's see direction. Okay. Can I add a not serialized property with baking backing field. Why? Because I need to tell it something here in the set. The set. So you get the direction. What's your problem? Code body does not conform to code style. Use expression. Shut the fuck up. Transform. Transform. Not translate. Rotation equals to quaternion look rotation in that direction. This is what it needs to do. Now let's go back to missile and change the script. And we're gonna go to debug mode. Go here, translator, and it's not a translator, it's a missile translator. And it keeps the reference it had. And now when I fire, the missile should be pointing into direction, or it should be sideways. Okay, mistakes were made. Let's go to the missile prefab, visuals body. Right, so when I'm pointing into look direction, this is the forward. So I need to rotate this pill against the x-axis by 90 degrees, like this. So now it should look perfect, flying towards the target. Why are some of them going much faster than they should? Or am I blind? Yeah, or not. Or just imagining things. Let's slow down the goddamn asteroids. They're pissing me off. Asteroid spawner. Data. Right. 1 second to 2 seconds. Also, I said slow them down. The asteroid. That's the data is here for the asteroid. 0.2 divided by 2. So it's half the speed. Let's see what happens. I think this is more manageable. No. Some of the rockets. I'm such an idiot. I should. Do I have missile translation meaning speed? Yeah. I'm not normalizing the direction. And I think I should do the same for the cannon. So the missile translator, it will be the same because direction normalized. But no, everything will be very slow. Let's see. So 5.5. Maybe 3.3. Or even 2.2. And the asteroids 0.51. Probably. Didn't I make the rockets red? I think I did. Now it's much better. We have some color in here. The missiles, when they reach their target, they shoot themselves in the foot. Where is the missile translator? Okay. Private. Vector 3. Target position. Okay. So, let's check on update. I need to make the update virtual as well. Virtual void. Virtual. Private, yeah, it's protected in this case. So, update. Where is it? Am I blind? Update. Dude, this one. From the base class. Update. Protected. Protected. Override. Void. Update. Base update. And also, if vector 3 square distance, square magnitude of vector 3 vector transform position minus target position is greater than previous distance. What's the previous distance? Private float previous distance. This one is math infinity or float max value. Okay. So if, because the rocket approaches the target, and if for some reason it passed the target, then we need to destroy it. It will spawn an explosion. And previous distance equals, let's var distance equals this distance. I'm not checking if it's closer to 0, because at some point it might go over that distance. So it goes near to 0, and now it passes the target, and all of a sudden the distance is greater than before. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself properly. So, missile translator has the translator data, but we're gonna make another class here, which will be missile translator data, which is much more complicated. missile translator data, which is translator data. The fuck? And it has a reference to private game object explosion prefab. Encapsulate it. Okay, so we're going into missile translator and we get the translator data. Let's make it protected. Translator data, missile translator data, explosion prefab. Instantiate this. What? Transform position quaternion identity null. Wait, what is the problem here? What did you expect? It needs another parenthesis here. Do we do anything with the explosion? No. We just spawn it and the rocket gets destroyed. Destroy game object. Great. Now let's make the explosion. Explosion. Reset. Another visuals. And in here, a sphere. Body. And let's use yellow for it. And put an animator on it. Animator. Let's make a folder called animations. Okay. In this one, I'm gonna create an animation. Expand. And we're gonna record something. When it reaches half a second, it's at maximum size, which is 111. Where did you go? Where did the... Let's drag it here. 1. Okay. But when it starts, it's at 0. So it grows from whoop maybe faster. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. And yeah. Okay, great. We made this. Let's make a script. Let's make another layer. Missile explosion. Right? The explosion has this layer explosion on it, all children. Let's drag it into the prefabs. Let's just get it out of this. So it expands, and when it finishes expanding, it should destroy itself. So we're gonna make a script called animation callback helper, and this script will have a method on it called public void animation callback, and it will also have a serialized field private unity event on animation finished. No, animation callback event. And this is what this method does. Raise, invoke, and we can assign whatever we want into that event. So animation callback helper, let's drag it on top and put a game object transform. We cannot destroy it, but we can make it active parse. And yeah, and the animation, which is this one, at the end we're gonna add an event, and this event is the animation callback. Right, where were we? The missile translator data. It needs to be of missile translator data. Get out of debug and assign explosion prefab here. So let's see if we've done this correctly. I think I'm gonna disable the spawner, not markers, the asteroid spawner, and fire. And we have an exception. Has no function named name specified. What? Has no, I'm sorry, what did you say? Explosion. God damn it. Ah, I managed to put two events and one of them was empty. Right. Did I make the explosion on the player explosion? So explosion should only be colliding with asteroids. That's it. And the explosion. Ah, fuck. Should the asteroid be also a trigger? Is trigger. And the explosion. Right, so the asteroid to do damage has a what? Has a collider helper on it. And the explosion should have the same. On the sphere collider also has to have a rigid body, and let's place it next to the sphere collider, and this one is going to be kinematic. And animation callback helper, and also collider helper. Let's drag it here. So what does this do? It tries to do damage to right, like the houses, right? The houses have this, on their colliders have this damage receiver, but the asteroid should have as well on the collider helper and damage receiver. And this is the parent. Let's drag you over there. And now the explosions should be able to destroy the asteroids. No exceptions. Nobody's flying down because I have disabled. No, I haven't disabled. Where are the asteroids? It's missing. Because what? Wait. Who is colliding with the asteroids? Do they collide between themselves? Asteroid with explosion? Asteroid with asteroid? No. Only with explosion, cannon and house.